Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marlene.
Hey, Liz, it's 9:30. We can get started.
All right, good morning. Thank you. My name's Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, Monday, August 30th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the Codified Ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest shall be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on our particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on our particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You can go ahead and call the roll, please.
Thank you. Mr. Donovan is absent this morning, I believe. And
Yes.
so we have Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes here.
Thank you. Ms. Faith? Alana Faith? I see her on the screen.
Yeah, me too.
I am
Yeah,
present.
she was.
Oh, there she is.
There she
I'm
is.
printing the agenda.
Thank you. And Ms. Britt?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum, but we would like to state to everyone present that we only have 3 members here this morning. And in order for your variance approval to pass, there must be a unanimous vote. So at this time, you can request a postponement in order to allow time for us to have more members. I believe that we will have 4 on September 13th. So at this time, you could request a postponement, or we can go forward if there's no comment.
Okay, hearing none. I did notice that Councilman Mooney and Griffin is here. I'm not sure. Maurice, did you see who got here first?
Councilman Mooney wins the race.
All right, Ms. Faith, we're going to start. Ms. Faith, we're going to start with Councilman Mooney's case, please.
All right.
One moment.
And can you pull double duty again today, please, Alana?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
All right. As a courtesy to the councilman, we like to allow the council people present to go first. So we're going to start with calendar number 21-116 at 3152 West 95th Street. This case was postponed from August 23rd, 2021. One moment, let me flip my page. Herbens Legends LLC owners propose to build a parking lot in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. So that concludes the reading of the case, Madam Chair. We'll proceed to the swearing in. All those present that are wishing to make testimony or statements regarding this case, I am about to read the oath. I will ask that you all raise your right hand. At the conclusion of the reading of the oath, your reply will be, I do. And you will then state your name and your address one at a time. So here we go. Please raise your right hand and I will read the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Brian Mooney, I do.
Thank you. Next.
I do, Adam Davenport.
Thank you,
And
Adam.
Michael, you were muted.
Yeah, thank you. I do, Michael Madonia, 2108 West 32nd.
Thank you, Michael. Next. Do we have a representative from the appellant with us?
That's Mr. Madonia, I believe, Madam
Yeah,
Chair.
that's Michael.
Yep.
Is it? Okay, great. Okay. Then, Madam Chair, I believe that's everyone.
All righty, thank you. On the history, please.
Well, Madam Chair, we did have history read at the last hearing.
Oh, that's right. We were postponed. Yep.
However, you may remember that there was a revision in the drawings that was submitted before the hearing. The applicant stated that he complied with several of the code sections that were listed at the last hearing. We have received that new application, which I believe will be on the screen before you today. And as you saw in the description, we are down to only two code sections that he's requesting a variance from at this time.
Great, thank you. Mr. Madonia, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So round two.
Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry. We did not get the legal standard. So hold on one
Okay,
second.
no worries. Jumping the gun a little bit.
Good morning,
About
Madam
that,
Chair, members
Lori.
of the board.
Or
Good morning. My name is Tim Pugh, Assistant Director of Law. Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting an area variance from the front yard requirements of the zoning code, as well as permission to construct a parking lot in a residential district. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Subsection 349.13C provides that the board may permit temporarily or permanently the use of land in a residential district for a parking lot when the best interests of the community will be served, and provided that 1, The lot is to be used only for the parking of passenger automobiles of employees, customers, or guests of the person or firm controlling and operating the lot, who shall be responsible for its maintenance. 2, no charge is to be made for parking on the lot. 3, the lot is not to be used for sales, repair work, or servicing of any kind. 4, entrance to and exit from the lot are to be located so as to do the least harm to the residence district. 5, no advertising sign or material is to be located on the lot. 6, all parking is to be kept back of the setback building line by barrier unless specifically authorized otherwise by the board. 7, the parking lot and that portion of the driveway back of the building line are to be adequately screened from the street and from adjoining property in a residence district by a hedge, slight fence or wall not less than 4 feet 6 inches high and not more than 5 feet high located back of the setback building line. All lighting is to be arranged so that there will be no glare that is annoying to the occupants of adjoining property in a residence district, and the surface of the parking lot is to be smoothly graded, hard surfaced, and adequately drained. 8, the building permit number under which the lot is to be established is to be posted. And 9, the board may impose such other and further conditions as it may deem necessary to reduce the adverse effect of the proximity of a parking lot on the character, development, and maintenance of the residence district in which the parking lot is to be located. Thank you.
Thank
Are you
you.
sure that's it?
Yeah, right. All righty. Now, Mr. Madonia, you may go ahead and proceed. Actually, good job on working your way down to only 2 today. So let's talk about those 2.
Yeah, there we go. So I think there's just 2 remaining. The one we've already discussed in depth. If we're going to allow the variance for a commercial lot in this residential district, the second one that was added was regarding the setback of the lot. So in that photo right there, in those 3 photos, you can see the setback of the lot across the street and then 1 block down. So when I originally created these plans, I had a 4.5-foot setback, and I was informed that I needed a 6-foot landscaping screen. I was then informed later that the parking lot actually has to be in line with the neighboring home in a residential district, which I was not aware of prior. So that's the second variance we're looking for, to just have a 6-foot landscaping screen rather than pushing it back to the neighboring house, which would really effectively cut the lot in half, and I think just not be an effective use of the space. And with the 6-foot landscaping screen, I still think it would look very neighborly, and there's precedent in the area for this sort of thing. So that's what I got for you guys.
Great, thank you. I'm gonna go to Adam Davenport.
Morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I think since trying to remember, I guess this was delayed about a month ago. We are supportive of the concept. There's a lot across the street from this property that Eden owns, the affordable housing developer. Henley Court was previously vacated, so it's no longer a right of way. It's privately owned. So normally I don't think we would be supportive of vacating a right of way for this purpose, but it has already been off the books for some time. So with that being said, Mr. Madonia has acquired the property. I think this is a decent use for the tenants of his building. My only concern is making sure that this is not obtrusive to the southern property owner. That house on the left side of the screen. So I think proper landscaping and adherence to the fencing code is necessary. As for the parking in the front setback, Maurice and I did talk about this. I think mimicking the Eden lot across the street would probably be the best case scenario. I'm not sure how far that lot is offset from the street. I think Maurice has a couple photos. So maybe, yeah, at the top, you see that lot right there at the top. So to me, that's a pretty decent buffer between the sidewalk and the neighboring property. That's the neighbor's driveway. That's brick in the bottom right corner, I think. So it's not, all in their front yard, so to speak, or all out their front door. There is a little bit of yard space in between. Yeah, there's another decent photo. So it kind of aligns with the, or tries to align with the front area of their house, like where their porch is. So I think that would be smart in this case for Mr. Madonia's plan. I don't think half of it needs to be cut off by any means, but if there could be something of the situation that would mimic that, that would be good.
Mr. Madonia, are you aware of what Mr. Davenport was talking about?
Yeah, yep, that makes sense to me. The one thing I would say is that I think for the parking lot across the street, I think the home is a little closer to the street than the home next to my property. So I believe the Eden lot is in line. Mine, if it was in line, it'd be a little farther back. I'm really open to doing either plan. If we want to keep it in line with the house, that's fine. If we want to bump it back just 6, maybe 10 feet, we could still get in, I think, the max number of spaces and effectively use the space. Yeah.
Madam Chair, just a quick comment. Is there any way to add a space at the rear end of the lot, at the north? I don't know if that would be the northern end of the lot, to make up for one you might lose in the front?
I would love to. The issue with that is that cutout is actually for that last spot, so they can back up and then pull out forward rather than having to, back all the way in, back all the way out. But yeah, that's a great idea. Unfortunately, I don't believe we can.
Okay. Just want to make sure you investigated that, because we would have no problem with you going further back.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, great. We'll hear from the councilman now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm in support of this. This developer, he's met with me and Adam Davenport. We've been talking about this for many months. He's been very accommodating. This parcel is privately owned. So what was here was a house where I could not convince the owner to rehab it. And this street is the highest area of prostitution, where there's 24-hour-a-day prostitution on the street. And I was constantly going in that abandoned home myself, chasing out heroin addicts and prostitutes, till we tore down the house a couple years ago. So that individual still owns the property, but I think there's a conditional contract agreement for him to buy it, which is good, because if he doesn't do this, we'll just have an orphaned parcel there. But parking's been a premium. I think this looks nice. I like Adam's idea about having it not necessarily as far as the setback of the house, but maybe a few feet off the street. And I'm excited and in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board, any questions or comments, or I'll entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, have we reached, sorry, do we have has the appellant and Adam, city planning, do we have an exact distance that we want this off the street? So that can be included in the motion?
As it stands, the plans call for 6 feet.
Okay. And is everyone in agreement with that? City planning, Adam?
I think so. I think the if this is the survey, then in the top left-hand corner, that's probably the front of the house. To mimic, I'm understanding of Mr. Bedonia's point about the house across the street being closer to the Eden lot. I still think maybe that first parking space in the bottom left-hand corner of the parking lot plan as it stands right now probably should be removed for landscaping, a tree, something to create a little bit more of a, I'll call it a front yard space that matches the existing house next door, and kind of create a little bit more of a buffer, so they're not looking at all of the immediate parking lot out their front door as they turn left. I think that the essence of that thought is just trying to create a buffer between a residence district and a parking lot. That's kind of my line of thought here.
And given Councilman Mooney's testimony about the activity on that street, do you still feel that that's necessary? Kind of putting you on the spot, Adam, sorry, but.
Oh, sorry. This was directed to me.
Yeah.
I think I've driven by this street a few times now, and gone to the lot. It would definitely be of benefit to the apartment building here to have some off-street parking, it seems. And I think, you know, that would alleviate most of the on-street parking for those cars that seem to be a part of the apartment building. I don't really have a comment towards the other activities that Councilman Mooney was talking about. I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Specifically
Yeah,
look at or
we're gonna keep it to the parking lot testimony.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure that if we took that space away, that we weren't attracting more of that activity. That's all.
Madam Chair, we do have Elizabeth with Kukla with her hand raised.
Ms. Kukla?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the record, could the appellant confirm that the fence between the parking lot and that residence, will it actually be a solid board-on-board fence or a vinyl? I'm not sure if I heard testimony about the type of fencing that will be installed to screen the parking from the residents.
Mr.
Sorry, I think
Madonia?
I was muted. Yep. So if you look at the plan right there, solid line is the fencing, and then the solid fencing, and then the dashed line is like an ornamental metal fence. So it mimics the Eden facility across the street, and I believe 18 feet is the approximate depth of the house to the street. So I did a ornamental fence, so it wouldn't block their view, but it would block the lot. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Madam Chair, to the appellant then, are you okay with sacrificing that first parking space up close next to the street?
Is that directed towards me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I could take out that one spot in the bottom right in that image.
Correct, right.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, all right. So I think we have a meeting of the minds then, Madam Chair. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and propose that we approve calendar number 21-116 with the testimony that we have board on board, and then we have ornamental metal fencing up near the street as specified in the drawings, and at the in the first parking space, and I'm not sure what the direction is, but as we're looking at the drawing on screen, in the lower right-hand corner, the first parking space will be eliminated, and landscaping in that area placed. So that's motion.
Can I have a second, please? Ms. Barnes, are you there?
I don't understand what you said. Second.
I need a second.
Ms. Barnes, is there a second?
Thank you. Call the roll, Ms. Kukla.
And Madam Chair, before I call the roll, you do need a revised drawing to show these conditions, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I will call the roll. Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Bake?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-116 is granted conditionally pending that revised drawings showing that the one parking space will be removed and landscaping will be installed in that area. We will hold ratification until we receive that revised drawing, and then we would send you a letter after that.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Madonia.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Adam, and thank you, Councilman. Really appreciate your help, everyone.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great. Moving on, Ms. Faith, we're gonna go to Councilman Griffin's case, please.
All right. That would be calendar number 21-134. Again, as a courtesy to Councilman Griffin, we like to take the cases with the councilman present. So this is calendar number 21-134 at 12518 Fair Hill Road. Sandra Williams, owner, proposes to install 99 linear feet of 6-foot-high wooden fence in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinance as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. So that concludes the reading of the case, Madam Chair. Moving on to the swearing in. All those individuals who are going to make testimony or statements with regard to calendar number 21-134, I'm about to read the oath. I will ask you to raise your right hand. And at the conclusion of the oath, your response will be, I do. And then you will state your name and your address one by one. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
Please state your name and your address following your...
Sandra Williams, 12518 Fair Hill Road, Cleveland.
Thank you. Next. Is that everyone then?
Oh, I'm sorry, Blaine Griffin, Councilman Ward 6,
Thank you.
11810 Larchmere Boulevard.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. I believe that, is that everyone?
No, Gloria Miller. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We can
Gloria.
hear you.
Oh, okay. Gloria Miller, 12512 Fair Hill Road.
Okay. Is that everyone? All right, Madam Chair, back to you.
Great, thank you. We'll have the history of the property, please, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the Building and Housing Records Administration Office, I found that in 1949, a permit was issued to erect a brick single-family dwelling. 1951, a permit was issued to construct a porch and garage to the existing dwelling. 1963, a permit was issued to install a new bathroom to a single-family dwelling. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history in our Acela system, I found that a permit was issued to erect a concrete porch on existing footer. And that is all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Kukla. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the garage setback requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, go ahead and present your case, please.
Okay, well, I am requesting a variance to put up a 6-foot fence around my property. I have had several people coming onto my property that have not been given permission to do so. This fence will help protect me and my safety and would allow for privacy on my.
Okay, and can you tell us what type of fence you like to put up?
Sure, it is a wood fence, board on board fence.
Great, thank you. Councilman, you want to weigh in here, or would you like the Ms. Miller to go first?
Yeah, I'll go last at the end. Ms. Miller
No
can go.
problem. Ms. Miller,
Yes.
you want to give testimony today?
Well, I pretty much already sent in my testimony by email, but my biggest concern is that the height of this fence, where it's adjacent to my part of the house, would block out most of my sunlight. In addition to forcing my three-season patio to look at this fence. It would also create an area of my house in which people could get behind this I think it's like only 3 feet. So that would create a blind spot in my property. And also, with the amount of space there, if I ever have to do something on that side of my house, it's gonna be so tight. I don't believe that I can get a ladder or anything in between that space. And if there's a fence there, there's too much of a clearance for me to avoid.
Thank you. Maurice, do we have a actual like zoom in so we can see how far this fence is from Ms. Miller's property?
I can zoom in here, but it is labeled right there that it's 3 feet.
Okay. So it's 3 feet from the fence to the neighbor. Okay.
Right.
And Ms. Miller,
right.
you feel like you can't fit in there? Is that the problem?
Well, I'm saying if I ever have to do any work to that side of my house, it's only gonna be 3 feet. Say if I have to get a ladder up, or if I have to mow, or and this creates a blind spot between, because you got fence on one side and nothing where I can see on the other side. So
Okay.
someone could be hiding in between this fence and back in the back part of my house.
Okay, I'm trying to picture that, but we'll go to the councilman.
Can I, when do I get a chance to respond? This is Sandra Williams.
We'll hear from the councilman, Ms. Williams, and then we'll let you respond to Ms. Miller.
Okay, thank you.
I support the project, Madam Chair. Looking at the designs, I believe that, the neighbors should be able to work out agreements on easements or whatever else in order for the proper work. So I believe that there's a way that these neighbors can really make sure that this project is done in a way to support each other's property. And I do support this for several reasons that were mentioned earlier: privacy, safety, and others as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Williams.
All right, so I just want to respond to a couple of things. My neighbor said that my fence would be blocking the sunlight. The sunlight shines from the sky down, not the ground up. So the fence will not be blocking any sunlight coming into the room. Secondly, there is enough space to put up a ladder. On the other side of my house, my neighbors have up fences. And on the other side of Miss Gloria's property, there is another fence that's down, but is coming back up. That has been there since I bought my house almost 15 years ago. And safety is a big issue. She mentioned safety and blind spots. People in our yards. In her yard in particular, there have been people in there stealing. They stole a weapon out of a car in the driveway. People have stolen lawnmowers there. The point of the matter for this particular fence, and there are fences all around us that should not be, that have not been creating blind spots. And the 3-person patio, I get it, you might want sun, but there's a big tree in the backyard that is also blocking sun from coming in. So there are ways that we can address this issue. I am literally just trying to protect myself as the only person living in this property who is gone most of the time, and all the things are happening in my backyard. And so that is my I guess my reply to Miss Miller.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Maurice, what's city planning, or do we have a planner today for this?
I don't think we have a planner online today for this.
Okay.
I would say that we're generally supportive of this. It's a very typical situation where you've got a 3-foot fence next to, I know in my house, my neighbor has a fence that's probably 3 feet off of the property line to the adjacent house. Unless there is some way that Ms. Williams can move the fence down maybe away from the house more, or if not, I think we support the variance.
Thank you. Yeah, I think 3 feet is fairly standard around the city between houses. And people seem to get work done. So I think that will be okay here. Board, do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions? Well,
I'm asking my board right now. Do they have?
Okay, because I got some questions.
I don't. Ms. Barnes doesn't.
Faith?
My only question was, do we know the distance from the back of the neighbor's house to where the gate is proposed? The end of the fence where the gate is proposed. It looks to me like it's typically board-on-board fences are 8-foot sections, so it looks to me like it's about 8 feet. Maurice, maybe you can help me out.
It's not a scale. Yeah, it's not a scaled drawing, so I can't tell you that. I mean, I can zoom in, but it's not gonna.
Yeah, we don't have.
It's not a scaled drawing, so I have no idea.
I did send the surveyor's documentation in. And it was also
yes, and I have that, but that doesn't have the fence on it. And the adjacent property and where that house is located.
I mean, I think if we bring the pictures up, I mean, I think this standard fence that's going up, you know.
Right. I bring that point up, Madam Chair, only because I think it's a minimal distance. It's
yes.
You know, so I think it's not an unusual situation. So with that, I would go ahead and say let's approve let's approve this 21-134.
Well, do I get a chance to respond?
Ms. Miller, yes, go ahead.
Because this is right here at the side of my house. If she has a gate that swings out even further, you're at my dining room window. Now, if that gate is left open, then the only thing that I get to see is a gate when I look out my living room window. Now, who wants that type of view? Now, if you start this fence further back past my sunroom, that's not that much of a difference. That's not going to take away too much more of her safety. That's my only issue here. If the fence goes back further, then it's not encroaching on and regardless to how the sun shines in, you will not get as much sun. You are also blocking my basement window. Now, I don't know if the sun starts from the top or the bottom. I know when sunlight comes in the room, it comes in the room. If it's something blocking it, it's not coming in the room. And that's what I'm talking about here. Now, I have no problem with this fence starting as long as it starts after my house.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to be looking at a fence out my living room window or a gate to a fence. And I have basement windows. This fence is going to be right up against my basement window. Now, where's my safety coming in? Because anybody could knock out that window in the basement, and it's in between the fence and my house.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Miller. I just wanted you to know that we don't guarantee where sun can come in for neighbors and or what your view is, particularly from your house. That's not what we address here at zoning. We just want to make sure that the fence is.
What was the variance for?
Variance is for.
I mean, why was this rule put in place if you're going to break it every time somebody comes to court? If it was put into place for a certain reason, then what was that reason to begin with?
And we have zoning. It's old, and so it's not moved along with modern things sometimes. So that's why you have to come to Board of Zoning Appeals to get your variance. So because this fence is necessarily in violation right now, that's why Mrs. Williams is here to ask for a variance. And so that's why we're here as the board to either grant or deny these variances. So sometimes the
Okay.
zoning code doesn't always catch up to what's happening in real world time. So that's why we're here today.
Okay.
Now,
So,
Chair, can I respond?
Yes, I don't want to get into a back and forth between the
Move on.
neighbors. So
It'll just be quick.
Miss
You'll-
Williams, I'll give you a response and then we'll move to the board.
All right, I will just say this. I do not know if my fence is going to, um, open in or out. It's going to be a wood fence. And I would imagine that the fence could open both ways. So I'm not sure. It should not in any way, whatever way it opens, hit my neighbor's home or house. And I
mhm.
will also say, if you all look at the pictures of our homes, the only thing we can see when I look out my kitchen window is Miss Miller's home. So we're not, both of us are not seeing much but each other's wood on each, the bricks on each other's home. So it's not much to see anyway.
Thank you, Miss Williams. Okay, board.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry for interrupting. Ms. Kukla or Mr. Rulins can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for the record, the legal standard stated that the appellant was seeking an area variance from the garage setback requirements. I'm thinking
Yeah,
that
that's
should have
wrong.
been area variance from the fence requirements. Just so the record's clear, thank you.
And the fence is only covering up my side stairs. That's where you can get into my side door, my house. That's why the fence is going right by the side stairs.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, board.
Okay, Madam Chair, I think I went ahead and made the motion, but just as a point of
Yes.
information, to Ms. Williams, typically when you're doing a gate with a board-on-board fence, you want to have a chain link fence gate built first, and then the board-on-board is attached to that, which means that the gates would open inward, not outward, as shown in your diagram, which should alleviate at least one objection from Ms. Miller, that the gates will swing in and shouldn't block anymore. And I would just, when you're working with your contractor, make sure that they specify that. That would be my suggestion to you anyway.
Okay, thank you.
So, Madam Chair, with all the testimony that we've heard today, once again, I'll reiterate that this is a fairly standard situation, and that I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 21-134.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Madam Chair, for the record, did Ms. Faith state that she believed that a portion of the fence would be chain link? Because I believe that the entire fence is going to be wood.
No, she was saying the posts that they put in are like for the chain link post, not that the fence will be chain link.
Okay.
Right. It's just, I understand that the whole fence is going to be board on board. It's just a construction method.
Yeah,
Ms.
because I
Kukla?
have it, so I understood what you meant.
Yeah, it helps support the board on board at the gate portion.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm glad that we cleared that up. I do
Okay.
ultimately have to write the documents. I just wanted to make sure
Okay.
for the record that I understood what's happening. So, okay, I will call the roll. Ms. Barnes? Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-134 is granted with the understanding that the fence gate will swing inward. This will be ratified on September 13th, and we will send you a letter after that.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Good luck, everyone. Miss Faith, I guess we can move back to our first case now.
We do have Councilman Jones with us, Madam Chair.
Oh, he is. Thank you
Yes.
for letting me know that. We will move to his case then.
And that is calendar 21-138. I do need to ask the appellant for this case. I may have a conflict of interest, so I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that this case, if it has anything to do with the Allen Estates development.
Does.
It does. In that case, Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself.
Well, that means we can't hear this case today. So
Right.
we're gonna have to be postponed. We
And it fit
need to
it.
get this out the way earlier next time, so we'll know this. But
well, we're just now getting to it, and I just saw that who it was. So
okay. So Frontline Development Group, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to postpone your case because Ms. Faith has to recuse herself, and that will only leave 2 votes, and so we can't have that. So Ms. Kukla, when can we put them back on the calendar?
Madam Chair, the soonest we'd be able to do that is September 20th.
All right, September 20th it is.
May I ask a question, please?
Sure.
So September 20th is we were looking to be groundbreaking by that time. So if we're saying that we're not able to do it because you don't have the votes, there's no, like, how do you all deal with it? There's no emergency meeting. We just have to wait to the next one.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. We can move to the first case, Ms. Faith.
okay. The first case is calendar number 21-130 at 10404 Harvard Avenue. Graster Girls LLC owner proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4. That concludes the reading of the case. I'll move on to the swearing in. For all those individuals that are going to make testimony or make statements on this case, I'm going to read an oath. At the conclusion of the oath, your response will be, I do. You'll then state your name and your address for the public record. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name and your address.
Angela Merriweather, 8235 Green Drive, Garfield Heights, Ohio, 44125.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Madam Chair, it appears that Ms. Merriweather is the only person present to make testimony. So on to you.
Thank you. History of the property, please, Ms. Kukla.
Madam Chair, before we go further, I don't see Ms. Merriweather's name as an applicant. Could we just confirm that she is indeed representing the owner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I don't have a letter giving authorization from the Graster Girls LLC. Are you a person that's part of that LLC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will read the history of the property. It was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1984, it was changed to 2-family. In the Records Administration Office, I found that in 1925, a permit was issued to erect a stores and apartment building. And Madam Chair, there is one Board of Zoning Appeals case in calendar 14-247. A request was made to change the use from 4-unit apartment building to a 10-room building an office to house an adult group home. This case, however, was withdrawn. And then, Madam Chair, in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that there were interior alterations in 1995 to change the use from bar to 4 residential suites. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair. Back to you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant may be requesting a use variance and is requesting area variances from the distance and off-street parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain a use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty, not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. There's a lot of variances here. So Maurice, can we get a quick summary, please?
Yes, so the main variance here is the fact that a residential facility is not permitted in this district, at least not for anything over 5 units. And there is also another residential facility within 1,000 feet of this particular project. They're also saying that there's off-street parking required and there's no legal parking spaces provided. I'd like the applicant to speak to that because it looks like there actually are parking spaces.
Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Yes, sir. This is a 4-unit, not a 5. And the address is actually 10402. When I went in to redo the application to put the correct address in, they, however, didn't allow me because I was going into appeal. So I don't know if that would make it more, feet or whatever, but we do actually have parking. And when I went into the building, she actually told me that they have off-street parking on that, as well as we have a parking lot in the back with a drain and handicap parking. So there's actually parking in the front, what you can see in the front of the building, you can park, and then there's actually parking also in the back of the building. If you can look at the pictures where I have these cones here, because trying to block people from parking in that area that just wanted to go and park because they thought it was part of Harvard. I don't know. But I had to put these things up here. So that's off-street parking as well. So you got parking here on the side, and you have parking in the back of the building. And if you really want, I guess you can park in the front of the building as well.
I'm fairly certain you probably can't park in the front of the building, but
I don't know.
that's not what was
if it
before
was
us
the case.
today.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
parking on that side of the street on Harvard.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
exactly.
That's the narrow part of Harvard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Merriweather, if you could just go through the variance list today and just tell us what you like to do with this place.
Well, actually, we like to open an assisted living for displaced veterans. And what we will be doing is acclimating them back into society once they come out of a gated facility, which would be either prison, mental health facilities, or they just need help. We have done the demographics, and the other house is on 108th, and that's group home living. We're doing assisted living for displaced veterans, and that's going into senior living. So what we will be doing is having peer support services, mental health, and substance abuse services. It's like a one-stop shop for the veterans.
Okay.
So I looked around, and there's not another veteran facility in that area. I've really been doing my homework on this, put a lot of time, a lot of effort. I've also tried to contact my councilman to get some support in this area. I just would like to be allowed to do some service to the community and do some good work while we're at it.
Yeah, so we have that there's another residential facility within 1,000 feet of you. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's for veterans. It's just a residential facility. So,
I'm
just so
aware of
you
that.
know that.
We're basing that on the address 10404. The address is actually 10402.
I don't think that would really make that big of a difference. But
Okay.
so
Well, I
thank you.
just wanted to make that point.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
So
you.
have you, yes. So have you met with the community at all about this?
Oh, I've asked everybody on the street. They're actually glad that somebody is in that building because it was, I guess it was a vessel of, you know, just people trying to run in and out of the building or try to break into the building. So actually the people on that street on Harvard, on 104th, and they're actually glad that we're there and that we're trying to revitalize that property. And so I've had nothing but good things, you know, come from that street. So I haven't had not one person.
Have you talked to the councilman?
I have emailed the councilman. Yes, ma'am, I have. And his secretary did get back with me, but she did not respond to my responding email. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay. I feel like we have questions here, but I'll I'll open it up to the board.
Madam Chair, this is Liz. I'm sorry to interrupt. As you can see from the site plans that Mr. Rulins has shown, there is no parking actually shown on the drawings. So I believe that we would need to see that shown on the drawings if the
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I sent it in.
Okay, if she's stating that she meets the code regarding the 3 accessory off-street parking spaces, we would need to see that. And also from the site plan or the floor plan, you can see that there are several bedrooms. I believe that we had calculated perhaps 12 residents instead of the 5 that were listed in the description. Could the applicant explain that just for the record?
Yes, it's just one veteran per occupancy. So we will only be servicing 5 veterans. So the rest would be office space for the services that we will be rendering for that veteran, and community service.
I'm sorry. So there's one resident per bedroom.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is a 4-unit. There's 4 separate apartment units.
Yes.
And they'll all be used for this purpose.
And only for that purpose.
So that makes it more like 10 or 12 residents, not 5.
No,
there's one per bedroom.
We're not putting. We're the other rooms are going to be used for services rendered. So if they have, if the veteran comes in and they have for services, we have to have room for them to have those services in. We're not going to have them in the bedroom. You know, if they want to come in and do, if clinical wanted to come in, if case management wanted to come in, they're going to have an area to do that. We're going to have on-site peer support as well.
Okay, I'm just going by what's on the plan here that you submitted. It says right at the top here, 1 person per room, and you have the 1 in each of the bedrooms, and we added that up. That comes to, I think, 10 or 12. So there's 1 here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
5,
unless you met one person
7,
per
8,
unit.
9, 10.
Yeah.
That's 10
Or
people.
one person, yeah. Is it one
But
person per
that
unit or one person per
that would
bedroom?
be a
Because
class,
that makes the count different.
Right. If we were to do that, that would be a class 3, correct?
I don't know what the different classes ratings are. Those are state classifications.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be more than probably we'd be willing to support.
Oh no, I wouldn't want 10 people in that building, no way. And that's why we said 5.
So are you saying one person, ma'am? Are you saying one person, Miss Merriweather? Are you saying one person per unit or one person per bedroom?
Yes.
Because if you're saying one person per bedroom, that is why they're coming up with 12. You have to let me finish
talking.
talking.
Oh, that's fine. Okay,
you have to speak one at a time.
Miss Merriweather, you have to let me finish talking, and I will complete the whole sentence, and then you can answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
my
ma'am.
question was, is this gonna be one person per unit or one person per bedroom? Because the one person per bedroom is what it looks like on this drawing right now, which is why they came up with the high count of 12. So if you're saying it's only gonna be one person per unit, then that drops it down to the 4 or 5 that you were speaking about before. So you can clarify that point.
Yes, ma'am. So the downstairs, so it's 4 units, okay? So the downstairs unit is gonna be used as an office. And so upstairs, we're only going to put one veteran per unit. So we have one unit that's a 2-bedroom, okay? All the rest of those units will be used for ample spaces for the services. So we will only be submitting to 4 to 5 veterans. That space right there is holistically for the veteran, for the services that we will be rendering. So it's supportive and assisted living. So no, we're not going to put veterans on top of each other, or 2 or 3 veterans, or 4 veterans in one room, or one apartment. That's not what's going to work.
Okay.
Madam Chair, sorry.
Yes. You know,
This
I
is
know a lot of
this
people have a lot of questions, and I feel like I don't want to start working this case out live on BZA, because we seem to start doing that a lot, and I don't want to get in the habit of working through cases that should be already worked out and done by the time they come here. So go ahead, Ms. Kukla.
Yes, Madam Chair, I was going to sort of speak to that, in that what we're looking at is a different plan from what the applicant is explaining. So we would need to see which one of those bedrooms would be used as offices, because again, right now it looks as though there's going to be one person in each bedroom. And we would need that clarified for the record, and that, that's what the site plan needs to show when it goes back to building and housing in order for them to get the permit. Right now, they would get a permit for the 12 people in each unit, especially as she's stating that this is assisted living and not independent living.
Correct. So I
Madam
feel
Chair?
like, yes, Ms. Barnes?
Yes, I have some questions directed to somebody. Have we said that she can do it because of 1,000 feet away? Is she 1,000 feet away, or is she there? Did she contact Union and Miles, which is the CDC in her area? And we should be having a community meeting with, with everyone to get their voice of opinion, not just go from neighbor to neighbor, because they can always say on the he say, she say, I didn't say it.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Yeah, I do feel like more information needs to be out for this project. Ms. Merriweather, what we
Yes.
need you to do before, because we're going to postpone your case for now.
Okay, yes.
What we need you to do is get back in contact with the councilman. You say you've had some back and forth with the office, so that's good. They know who you are.
Yes,
So get back in touch with them to try to schedule a community meeting, or some kind of gathering where you can let them know what you want to do with this building. Also contact the CDC. I'm not sure if it is Union Miles or not for this. And Maurice, do you know who the planner is for this area?
Yes, it's Marka Fields. So you can also reach out to Marka Fields. Angela, I will text in the chat. I will send you Marka Fields' email address.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that way
And she can
Hi,
definitely
sorry,
help
I'm
you with
taking it
getting in
late.
touch with whatever the CDC is there, and all of that. So she can help you coordinate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys today.
Thank you. Ms.
Oh,
Kukla, what's the next date?
And just one other thing, make sure that when you do come back, you have the site plan is updated with with everything labeled properly inside the house, like what'll be office space, what'll actually be a bedroom space, how many in each, just so that it's more clear. I think it would clear up a lot of questions. That's all.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. This is Tanisha Grasser on behalf of Grasser Girls. I'm sorry I checked in late.
Well, we're postponing this for right now, Ms. So that you guys can get some more information together before you bring it back to us. So Ms. Cookland, can we get a date, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, September 27th. That gives them approximately 30 days. That would be the soonest. If the applicant thinks that they need more, that would be October 4th would be the next date.
September 27th would be fine.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. September
All right,
27th.
so that's what we have. We'll see you back here, and then you can have all the information we asked for. You would have spoken to the councilman and the planner by then, and we can make sure that you have all the proper information in front of us so we can make an informed decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sister. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay, moving on, Ms. Faith, to calendar number 21-131.
Excuse me, with all due respect, this is Angela Bennett from Frontline. I guess, may I ask, before you move on, if we could address the matter of the conflict of interest? There's some concern with moving this, the Frontline matter onto the September 20th docket.
That would be the Allen Estates project.
Correct.
Yes. We're gonna hold off. We'll talk about this at the end. I want to get other people's cases done, and if you want to wait, we can hold off and talk about that later.
Thank you.
Ms. Faith, we're going to move on to calendar number 21-131, please.
You're muted, Alana.
There we go. Calendar number 21-131 at 1873 West 54th Street. Anka F. Casses, owner, proposes to erect a two-story frame single-family residence with a one-bay attached front-loaded garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5. That concludes the reading of the case, Madam Chair. So we'll move on to the swearing in. So for all those individuals that are going to make statements or testify on case number 21-131, I'm going to read an oath, and the conclusion of which your response will be I do. You'll state your name and your address. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Paul Began, Began Architectural Design.
Is there anyone else?
I do. Anka Koshin, Causes.
I do. Adam Davenport.
I do. Michelle Pizzoli, 1877 West 54th Street.
Is there anyone else? Okay, having heard no one else, Madam Chair, to you.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been no change in the zoning since 1929. There are no variances on file, and I believe that the most pertinent information is that in June of 2012, a permit was issued to demolish a two-story frame single-family dwelling unit. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the garage placement, front yard setback, off-street parking, and landscaping requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Please note that section 329.04C1 of the zoning code may affect the board's ability to grant the requested front yard setback variance.
Thank you. The dreaded front yard. Why do I keep getting these? I don't want these. They have to be worked out before they come here. We can't rule on them unless someone's been doing some.
Just
May
be
I address
patient.
that, Madam Chair,
Okay.
real quick? I think there's actually a little bit of a miscommunication
Okay.
or with the building department. First of all, we are beyond the required setback as given, and even besides that, the setback I believe was calculated incorrectly. We've been having communications with the city planner and the building department on this particular issue. So I think that first item is going to be something that will go away. I think it was just an incorrect calculation on this particular case.
Okay, thank you. Because I
Yeah, Madam Chair, there's actually multiple ways we can get past that. We'll get to that.
Okay, awesome. All right, go ahead, Mr. Began. And I assume Ms. Kugler has a letter that you can represent.
Yes, and Inca's on.
Yeah, I heard
She's
she's on, but I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
No problem. Very small lot, in Ohio City. As you could tell, it's 30 by 74, which is quite small. We have been working for some time with planning to work out the best way to put new residents on this property. And what we're unable to do is figure out a way to get a driveway to the back. That's really the biggest piece of this. So we did end up with a front loader garage. Again, we work with planning to set that garage a little bit farther back than the rest of the house. So it's not right up on the street. And we have the ability to pull out of the garage without having to cross over the sidewalk initially. So we have a car space length in front of the garage in order to be able to do that safely. Again, because of this lot is so small, the requested variances for the side yard setbacks and the rear yard setbacks are really only because of the size of the property. And you could see, and again, if you look at the picture that's up on the screen right now, the next two houses, the house adjacent to us, I think has a 14-foot setback. The next two houses, which are within 100 feet used to calculate that, are right up on the sidewalk. So we are farther back than both of those. So, and then the house to the north is actually right on the property line as well too. So again, what we've been doing is working with planning, and they've been very good at helping us direct the design for this particular residence on the street.
Great, thank you. Planning? Is that Adam?
So I can, Madam Chair, I can speak just to the setback. We concur with Mr. Began about the locations of the adjacent homes. And if that weren't enough, there's also a provision in the zoning code that allows the board to grant a variance when a lot is substantially less deep than any other lots on the block. And as Mr. Began pointed out, you can see that this lot is half the size, half the depth of the other lots on the street. So there's actually two ways. One would be just an exception to the zoning code where they wouldn't even need a variance, and the other method, which was the depth of the lot, you could grant the variance. You could actually have the authority to grant the variance. So there's actually two ways to handle the setback.
Wonderful. As long as we can handle it, that's all.
And I'm sorry to cut off Adam.
Fantastic. Okay, go ahead, Adam.
All good. Yeah, normally we wouldn't be supportive of front loader garage variances.
Yeah.
And like you saw a couple weeks ago on 74th, small lots can adhere to that code sometimes, but that lot was, I think, 42 or 40 by 50. This is a whole 10 or 12 feet less in width than that case. So it through our design review subcommittee, we worked with Paul on trying to adhere to the essence of that code as much as possible, given the narrow width and depth that creates what we deem a hardship in this situation. So we worked with Paul to make the front entrance only a single car entrance, as well as make it a little bit more aesthetically appealing and kind of shelter it back from the street. So we are supportive of the variances required to build this house. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. I believe Ms. Pazzulli, are you here for this case?
Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I am. I'm the neighbor at the adjacent property, 1877 West 54th. And really, I'm just here. I just want to see what the designs were and everything. I had, brief conversations with the property owner who's proposing the plans. I'm not 100% against it, but I am concerned about just like cramming a home onto such a small, tiny lot in the proximity that it's going to be to my home. I see it says they are going to, they're looking for, it's going to be less than 6 feet to the adjacent house, which is my home. So I'm concerned with just being able to reach out my window and touch the home next to me and just have it be so close. It just cramming a decently large home onto a tiny lot. It's just really cramming it in there at that point.
Thank you.
Lot itself, I was always told was when I bought the house from Cleveland Housing Network, they told me on multiple occasions that the lot next to me, it wasn't even large enough to build on. They said it's unbuildable. No one will ever be able to build a home on that lot because of its size. And there's other concerns. I mean, which has nothing to do with the current property owner, where Cleveland Housing Network mistakenly placed my fence on her property. So like they have to remove my fence, which was mistakenly, I just bought a house as is. Cleveland Housing Network had already built the house, erected the fence, and then it ends up they built it on her property. So now they have to take down the fence and set it back about 30 feet onto what I bought, knowingly thinking was my property, and that now it's being revoked from me almost 10 years later. And they're going to just cram this house onto not only the space that's next to my house, but also a portion of what, for the last 10 years, I was under the impression was my home, my property, because that's how it was sold to me as is by Cleveland Housing Network. And now, like, a third of what I thought was my yard is being taken away, where I've raised my kids, 2 dogs. So I'm not thrilled with the proposition.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair, I would point out that the house to the, which would be to the right, I believe that's the woman's house, is also, looks like it is built maybe 1 foot off the property line. I'm curious as to how that actually happened, because that, and this is why I'm always talking against doing things like that, because then you inflict an issue on the adjacent property owner, who actually is at least 4 feet away from the property line, or 3 feet away. So they do meet code with that. They don't meet code with the fact that the other building, which was allowed to be built, and I don't know why, 1 foot off the property line, is actually what's causing the problem.
Yeah. Well, that was out of our hands from before Maurice, but
yeah, that
I
was before my
understand
time doing this. So
yeah, exactly. But that I understand how that causes a ripple effect now with
and that's exactly why I never support the variances where we're putting homes, 1 foot off the property line, because this is exactly the situation that arises.
Okay, well, it's an existing condition for us right now, so we'll move forward as is right now. So we heard from the planner, the neighbor. Ms. Colson, do you have anything you'd like to say about the property?
Well, no, not really. When I purchased it through Howard Hanna. The concerns that Ms. Pazzulli had raised were never addressed to me. And again, this was a business proposition. I purchased a lot. I did send her a letter when I bought the lot that the fence has to be moved because it's on my property, and it was notarized. And I have been very kind with her, and I left her fence on my property for all these years, like 3 years. So she has been aware of of that piece of property that belongs to me. And again, when I bought the lot, I was advised that it is a buildable lot, and you know, it's a nice, and I like the piece of property. I didn't want a big lot. It's perfect for someone that doesn't want to have a yard and doesn't want to like maintain a large garden. And I just thought it would make a perfect opportunity to put a cute house on it. So again, I hope I'm gonna be granted the opportunity to build on this lot and just to put a pretty home in Ohio City. That
Thank
was
you.
my intention all along.
Okay, thank you very
Again,
much.
her concerns about the lot being small does not pertain to me or to you know, our ability to put the house on the lot. These should be going back to the builder and whoever sold her house.
Okay, thank you. Board, would you like to chime in here with any questions or a motion?
Madam Chair, just a question to Mr. Began. Given the proximity to the neighbor's house, can you tell me if you've specified any higher fire rating for the wall that's adjacent to the neighbor's house?
Yes, and we'll be required to do that through building and housing, to have those walls that are 3 feet or less to the property line to be 1 hour fire rated. And as you can kind of see a little bit from the rendering too, we have minimized the window openings on that side of the house anyways to ensure that that is not going to be an issue.
Okay, that's my biggest concern is making sure that the neighbor's kept safe through all this. Sounds like an unfortunate situation otherwise with her, the folks that she purchased the house from, maybe. So with that, Madam Chair, I think we can go ahead and approve calendar number 21-131. We see these situations that are close like this often, so this isn't all that terribly unusual.
Thank you. And I'll just add the friendly amendment that we can't grant section 34102. Can I have a second, please?
Yes, you have a second from Ms. Barnes.
Thank you. Call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Bates,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 21-131 is granted. It'll be ratified on September 13th, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Good luck.
Thank you. Moving on, Madam Chair, to
Yes.
calendar number 21-133 at 4470 State Road. CLE real estate owner proposes to build a parking lot in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. That concludes the reading of the case. Moving on, I will ask all those individuals that intend to make statement or comments or testimony on case number 21-133. I'm about to read an oath. You will respond by stating your name. You will respond by stating I do, then your name, then your address, one by one. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Murray Tukel, CLE Real Estate, 4472 State Road, Cleveland.
Next.
Haydar Bektaş. I'm the owner of the Rocky River International Link, and also Murray is my brother. Owner.
Thank you. Next.
I do. Vanessa Ogumumi, Secretary for Rocky River International, Inc.
I do. Lucas Reeve with the Old Brooklyn Community Development Corporation, 4540 Broaddale Road.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I believe that's everyone, so we can move on to you.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1991, it was changed to local retail business. In the records from I found that in 1924, a permit was issued to erect a brick stores building with 2 dwelling units. In 1982, a permit was issued to demolish a brick mixed-use building. And there are 2 variances on file in for this address. In calendar 85-124, this board denied a request to erect a 1-story contractor storage building. In calendar 91-361, this board also denied the request to use the lot for open storage of contractors' trucks and equipment. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system in 2018, and this is for the address of 4474, circling back to the original, to the beginning of this history, the range of addresses for this area is 4470 and 24476. So for the address of 4474, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the authorized use of the property is as 2 stores and 2 dwellings. That was in 2018. And then in 2020, September of last year, a permit was applied for and closed. I don't see it being issued to construct a 16 by 40 concrete patio slab. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the driveway, off-street parking, and landscaping requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Who will be the spokesperson?
I will do that. And that's the blueprint that shows he also is the own the 4474 is the next building. And he's landlocked there and he's using the neighbor's driveway. And however I design it and then did the entire project and separate, like is like a driveway, like a parking lot, and it's gonna be held. Because the other problem in the state road, it is legal to park on the street after the certain hours. And there is a curb started, you can see is the right hand side is the 4474 and then 4470 is corner. People cannot see the other streets coming up next. And then there is a lot of accidents coming happen. Then my brother decided to make the parking lot and then help the traffic for the state road. That's the biggest concern about him to decide to make this parking lot. And other than that is there is a I got the addendum from the city of Cleveland, and it says the 4 things in my blueprint. The first thing is one of the blueprint has a like Vroom printing, but everything was on scale. And the second one is it's asking for the 15 feet supposed to be away from the other driveways. And yes, there's a driveway between in the 15 feet. And I'm civil engineer. I know that, and I had a transportation plus as an elective when I wasn't in college. But there is another parking lot. It's a 1-car garage, and I rather put the driveway close to that building, which is only 7 feet. Then put it in the middle, which is the way from the curb, and there's a pole right there. It's the get in and out is the easy access. Also is when you get out the parking space, there is only right turn. I put it on there too, which is it's gonna be help to the traffic and people's not trying to make a left turn in the state road. And the other things, there is a catch basin, as you see, I installed with this blueprint, which is my original one. And because I like to be, everything is make it proper. And then I met with the water pollution department, and then they give me the existing blueprints. I believe his building has a fire or something. It's early 90s. One of the neighbor told me. And when I was digging the property, actually you saw the pile of the dirt, and I dig it to try to find the existing connection. And they told me about early 90s, there is a fire and they demolished the building. And we have no place to be tied in. And then I have to, like, there is only way to left. I have to dig state road side by side. And then whoever's heard it from the city of Cleveland, they didn't like it, because I don't like it either. It's a small project, and I don't want to be like dig one side, the other side, like 20 to 26 feet deep, and put the manhole and stuff. You know what I mean? It's gonna be cost and plus, and it's gonna be law endorsement's gonna be involved. It's gonna be a lot of like pain for the traffic wise, for city and for us. And I eliminated, and what I did, I put this the under drain cuts, and then I'll make these the underpayment is the retention basis, which is I did the similar one is the Parma Greenbrier Middle School, and I solved that problem is like this, and that's all I can say about the this project. And Murray, if he wants to add something else, and then this is all we can say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else is signed up to speak today?
Yeah, I am. I'm Murray Tukel. I'm the owner of the property and brother of Haidar. I want to add what he said. If I can get the area view slide, the one with the photo. If you can see, I own the lot and the building to the left of it. My parking lot, that's the building I have. It's a three unit residential unit. I own the parking lot in the back where you see the cars parked. And I purchased this property in 2018 with the lot next to it. My understanding, there was an easement done in the 1980s with the previous owner of my property and the previous owner of the property next door, that allows us to use the driveway, which is very narrow. As you can see to the left, there is an alleyway. That's the driveway we use. And he uses my parking lot, half of my parking lot in the back, and I use the spaces where closer to my building, where there's only 4 cars can be parked. There's red cars that you see is mine. The issues that we're having with that alleyway is very narrow, and there is a corner that is blind spot for somebody trying to make a left turn onto State Road, and we had multiple accidents happen due to that restricted traffic. Also, any kind of moving trucks or anything cannot get in and out. What we're proposing is building a parking lot next the lot that is vacant now. Clear out all the vegetation that has been also a eye hazard, I guess. As long as we try to keep it up, it's keep growing and we keep cutting it down. That parking lot will alleviate the issue of the traffic flow. It will make that right turn only if needed to be, if left turn is an issue. It will allow me enough parking space for my residents. So that's all I can say. And I don't know if anyone had anything else.
Okay, thank you. Did I hear someone from the CDC was on?
Yes, Lucas.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Lucas, yes.
Appreciate the opportunity to be with you all this morning. Myself and staff at the Old Brooklyn Community Development Corporation had an opportunity to meet this past Friday with the architect, Mr. Betkus, and review the plans that we're all taking a look at this morning. We certainly appreciate the effort to beautify this portion of land that, as you could see from its existing state, is not an add to the streetscape in any which way. And certainly the improvements that are being proposed here with the parking lot would do quite a big deal to improve the streetscape along State Road. We did request from the architect to take a look at the plans for the building to the south, wanting to understand the use of that building from a residential standpoint, and also take a look at whether or not any improvements are going to be made to the exterior of that building, just to try and get a holistic idea of the scope for not only that building, but for the proposed parking lot that we're taking a look at this morning. I would say that right now we're a little unsure of the use of the residential component of the building to the south. Review of plans by our staff over the weekend showed 4-bedroom, 4-bath apartments sort of use on the first floor, which included a shared kitchen and shared living space. And so we do have some questions for the applicant about the intended use, which seems to be a little bit different than a traditional, perhaps 2-unit apartment building on the ground floor. So we, at this point, are a little concerned potentially about that use and would like to understand better how that future use applies to the 6 parking spaces and development that we're kind of looking at this morning.
Great, thank you. Does anyone want to quickly talk about what the use for this building is going to be to answer Lucas' question?
Yes, of course, I can handle that, Lucas. The unit is developed as we are specialized in midterm rentals. So we are hoping we can rent the space, lease the space to traveling professionals, which we already do in different parts of the country. And also one of the units will be our office. We'll be using for office use. Any other questions you have?
Some of the tracks changed, so that's right.
Okay, we're gonna go to, did I hear from City Planning yet? I don't think so.
No, you did not. I had a question. So the entrance is going to be off of State Road. I guess it wasn't really clear from the plans.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like there's no other connection.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an upgrade for the vacant lot that is there now. And it appears that maybe were these plans issued after the adjudication and went to Building and Housing, because these seem to be very complete plans, but the write-up seems to
says yes,
indicate a lot of things are missing that seems to actually be on this plan. We would recommend approval for this. I think it's an upgrade to what's there now, and we have no issues.
Yeah, I agree with that. Board?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'm sorry. My video is off. So regarding section 327.02E, we want to be very careful about that one. We want to make sure that we do not, as Mr. Rowland stated, this looks like a complete plan, but we want to make it clear that the site plans that are submitted to Building and Housing need to be drawn to scale, and it shall clearly indicate the proposed yards, etc. So I'm sure that the board would probably not grant a variance to that code section, but just for the record and just to remind you that we would want to be explicit in our motion regarding that.
And the plans that we have on screen do appear to have a scale. They have a north arrow. They seem to be dimensioned properly. So yes, I agree. I would never want to recommend the variance to submitting complete plans.
Thank you. Board?
Madam Chair, so with Mr. Rowland's statement, are we satisfied that we have all the necessary information to fulfill the requirements for number one, Mrs. Kukla?
Madam Chair, Mr. Riccardi has his hand raised. Maybe he can address that.
Oh yeah, Mr. Riccardi, go ahead.
With the plan that's shown today, it seems like there will not be a need for a variance for number 1 or for number 3. And the variances that would be required will be number 2 and number 4. So I just want to state he's showing drainage now. That the plan is fine. It would be acceptable to us. So the variances are number 2, the driveway, number 4, the landscaping abutting the residential district.
Thank you. I think that helps you with your motion there, Ms. Faith.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Riccardi. So with that being said, Madam Chair, number 1 and number 3 have been satisfied given the drawings that we're seeing on screen today, as Mr. Riccardi testified. So we're looking at number 2 and number 4. And so with that information, I think we can go ahead and approve calendar number 21-133.
And Madam Chair, just a quick note on number 4. I would note that at the back of the property, you can see on the aerial there where an 8-foot landscape strip is required. You can see that it abuts a garage and the rear of the property. So I think it's okay to grant that 8-foot the variance to number 4 because of that.
Thank you. All right, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 21-133 is granted conditionally, noting that items 2 and 4 are the only variances we are granting today. It'll be ratified on September 13th, and we will send you a letter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, you'll probably need to make sure that these upgraded or updated plans get to Building and Housing so they can remove number 1 and number 2 from your adjudication.
Actually, I already did.
Okay,
I
great.
already did about a month ago. You have
Very
it.
good.
I changed everything. Is the Mr. Benjamin Stock City engineer and then Eli Ramli water pollution engineer. They already checked and they already also see the blueprint.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Faith.
Finally today, Madam Chair, we have
Yes.
calendar number 21-135 at 3040 West 14th Street. W14 Lofts LLC proposes to install approximately 91 linear feet of 6-foot-high aluminum decorative fence in the actual front yard in a D2 multifamily district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. That concludes the reading of the case. I'm now going to move forward to the swearing in. All those individuals who are going to make testimony or want to make statements for case number 21-135, I'm going to read the oath. Following that, your response will be I do, then state your name and your address one by one. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do, Donna Gregonis, 3308 Lorraine Avenue, Ohio City Incorporated and Tremont West Development Corporations.
Thank you. Next. Do we have a representative for the appellant with us today?
Interesting.
Oh, I did receive an email. This is Liz Kukla. I received an email from Tara at insightscleveland.com this morning. And also, if I could remind everyone that to use *6 to unmute yourself, just in case there's somebody who's having trouble communicating with us.
I don't even see anyone else on this.
No, I don't either.
Call right now.
Okay, give me a minute.
Donnie,
We sent an invitation. We sent an invitation to Adam Hayun, and we also sent an invitation to West 14th Lofts LLC.
Who is Lucas Reeve?
He is with
This is from
the Old Brooklyn CDC.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he just spoke.
Yeah. Donna,
Okay.
have you heard anything about this case? She's looking like, nope.
Sorry, I was trying to get information about this case last week, and I did finally but we never heard about this, and I didn't even realize that Adam Hayoun was related to this case, and I could reach out to him directly. But they did not come before the neighborhood or the community to talk about this variance, and it seems sort of like a substantial variance because it is a much taller fence than is usually put in this area. So I would like to make sure that we're able to at least get some feedback from people that would be directly affected by this, if that's okay. And thank you.
Yeah. So Donna, you go ahead and reach out to them, and then you can handle the community, angle before they come back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is
No
very
problem.
Madam,
Seems like no one's
Madam
here.
Chair, we had some questions on this as well because the way the drawings were submitted, and I can zoom in real quick, you can see that they're showing a property line that doesn't seem correct. And if it is correct, then that means they're wanting to put a fence in the right of way.
Nope.
So we also had some questions about this as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, this case needs to be postponed. We'll postpone it. Liz, can we get a date?
Should we push it to October 4th? It sounds like they have
Yes.
a lot to work out here. Okay.
Yes.
October 4th it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's been some questions about Miss Faith recusing herself from the Frontline case, and I'm gonna defer to the law department here. Do we need to question if she feels like she needs to recuse herself? Are we right in questioning that she needs to recuse herself?
I can defer to Lori Wagner on this, but I don't think so. I think if a conflict is perceived and stated, that there doesn't need to be a cross-exam as to the nature of the conflict. It doesn't hurt to disclose the relationship that's creating the concern, but I don't think it's required.
Okay, thank you. Frontline, did you hear that? If Miss Faith feels like there's a conflict, then there is a conflict. We can't question whether she feels there was a conflict or not. So just wanted to get that on record.
Okay, I guess my concern, well, if I may, and with all due respect to Ms. Faith, she did, in disclosing it, she did participate in a project through, the Urban Land Institute where the Allen Estates was the topic. And there was a capstone, but Ms. Faith doesn't have any pecuniary interest, in the project. And because there are only 4 board members, I guess my concern is if we're presented with just 3 members again, would that then cause another issue in pushing our project forward? Because our project, has been, shared and it's circulated amongst, different people. So would that present another issue for us moving forward?
The date that your case has been postponed to, you should not have that problem. We're unloading a new board member, and she should be here by that time. And so with Ms. Faith recusing herself again from this case, you will not have an issue with enough voting members.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Angela,
Okay.
just so we're clear, you're not inquiring as to the nature of the conflict. You seem to be aware of the nature of the conflict, correct?
Yes, I'm a member of ULI.
Okay, thank you.
And was part of, absolutely.
Your question was, are you going to be faced again with a situation where there has to be a unanimous vote because the 4th member has recused herself? That was your question.
Well, yeah, that was the question. And I guess because because she can recuse regardless of, that's her personal feeling. I guess my question was with regard to, since she didn't have a pecuniary interest in the conflict of interest. Yeah.
No, I don't think you can compel a board member who feels there's a conflict to deliberate despite their concern. I think if they have identified a conflict and it's a reasonable concern, which it seems in this case, based on what you've disclosed, that can't be, they can't be compelled. to deliberate over their.
Yeah. That's extremely helpful. Thank you.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
may I
We'll
speak?
we'll see you on 9/20. If you don't have to defend yourself, Ms. Faye, so we
Okay.
covered it, and so we're fine. We're moving forward.
Okay. I was
So-
not aware that we were going to have a board member absent today. Otherwise, I don't think we would have had an issue. So,
Okay, moving on to old business. Thank you, Angela.
thank you.
Okay, old business 1, 2, and 4 without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Thank you. And looks like we have no affirmations. What's this? That's just letting us know about the court. Okay. All right, meeting adjourned, everyone.
If we could just, Joy Griggs, just to make sure that you note that, I believe I sent you an email on that one as well. We'll need the transcript for that as soon as you can.
All right, well, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you next week.
So, do we know when?
The 13th, September 13th.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 13th.
Oh, I have a question. Has Tim left us, or is he just
I'm
gone?
still here.
No. Oh no, our Tim, not the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Donovan.
Yes.
Tim Donovan.
Okay, I'll leave you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
I have a question.
No, he has not left us. He's just out for a couple of meetings. No, he's not.
Okay. All right. I just was concerned that he's okay and.
Yes,
Okay.
he's just out for a couple of meetings. That's all.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.
September 13th, guys. Have a good holiday.
We have someone with a question.
I have a question for the Mr. Maurice. Actually, it's
Yes.
the
Okay,
explanation.